Brightburn, right? When that kid, ultimately, finally discovered, his powers and, and was able to, start recompensing people for how they treated him. A statement that he made was, take the world, and he kept repeating it to himself, take the world, take the world, take the world, and that's spiritual, because that's something that, Yahweh Shai is ultimately going to allow, the elect to do, beginning with Yahweh Shai, right, obviously, but hey, Yahweh Shai is going to, allow us, or he's going to give us that power, right, to ultimately overcome these damn devils, man, and put them into captivity, which, is prophesied to take place, right? As you read in Revelations 13, in verse 10, right? He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity, man. Right now, we're under the captivity of the self-proclaimed so-called white man, right? Who is the devil the Bible speaks of, man. And he has, as the scripture has, says in Zechariah 1:15, that he hath forwarded the affliction, man. Right? He has done more than he was supposed to do, right? And part of his recompense for doing so is the curses, right, of Deuteronomy 28th chapter, right, that have come upon, us Israelites for what we did to Yahweh Shai, right? Those are going to come upon him, right? And you can read that in Deuteronomy 30 and verse 7, right? All these curses shall come upon thy enemies, right? So Esau's going to have to deal with being on bottom. Esau's going to have to deal with, being treated like shit, which is something that we can't wait for, man. And see, that transition of power, right, really is taking place now, right, with this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding being given unto us, right, us knowing who we are, us knowing who our power is and how to please, our power, right, Yahweh being the name of the Heavenly Father, and Yahweh Shai being the name of the only beloved begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, right, we're learning, right, how to please them, man, and in doing so, hey, the Lord is giving to us power, right? He's giving power to us, right? Having this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding is likened unto, having spiritual power, right? Because you can tell the future, man. With this word, you can tell the future. You can ultimately, identify, how the enemy is going to be moving, without actually having to sit there and truly study this damn devil, man. I mean, we do, right? But we don't, it's not like we're out, opening up books and just sitting there for days on end trying to study with it and actually, putting a tail on him and trying to, scope how he moves and this and no, man. We read the scriptures, and through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shai, how this damn devil moves, right? What he's into, is all being revealed, through the spirit, So really having this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding is, likened unto, having spiritual power, right? But see that, the Lord is ultimately going to give us, that true power, man. True power. The Lord's going to give us that power, man. And we're going to, as the scriptures say in Daniel's 7th chapter, right? The saints shall take the kingdom, Okay, whole bunch of demons, man. Whole bunch of fucking demons out here on these streets, man. Some of these almost try to, rear end me just now. But, Wadi al-Bashim al-Shai, could have been worse. But nonetheless, right, the Lord is going to give us that power. And see, hey, when the Lord gives us that power, when Yahweh Shai comes, because, there are going to be certain of us that do get that power before Yahweh Shai comes, you know what I mean, to, ultimately defend ourselves, as we read in Isaiah the 59th chapter, the 19th verse, right, the Lord is going to raise up that standard, and, that standard ultimately goes into, to put to flight, right, or to disappear, so the Lord's going to give us, that power, and or send an angel, right, to deliver us out of that, situations, And to the average eye, it's going to look like, we just disappeared, but it's really going to be an angel opening opening up, pausing time, pausing reality, you know, opening up a portal and having to step through it. You know, that's just speculation, you know, but that very well could happen. It could take place, you know, but nonetheless, you know, so there are some that are going to get that actual power, you know, such as, you know, super strength or super speed or, you know, all different types of stuff, you know. But the ultimate power, right, is going to be when Yahushua comes and those bodies get changed, you know, and you know, we come down out of those chariots right after, you know, the destruction, right, of America happens. Right, when the smoke clears, man, we're going to come down and what? We're going to hem up, first and foremost, the elites, right? Psalms, 149, you know, shall bind up their kings, right, and their nobles with fetters of iron, right? Lord's going to give us that power, man, and that's the first thing that we're going to do is bound up these fucking heathens, the elites of these fucking heathens, man, you know? You know, we're going to take it, man, and we're going to take it by force. The saints shall take the kingdom, all right? We ain't going to ask you to hand it over. We ain't going to ask you, hey, man, when are you done? When are you done with it? When are you done with it? No, we're going to fucking take it. Because you damn devils been fucking it up this whole time. You've been fucking up the earth. You've been fucking everything up, man. You ain't been doing what you were supposed to, man. So, hey, guess what, man? Your time to rule is over. You know, time of your punishment is to come. You know? You damn devils got a lot to fucking pay for, man. You know, every ounce of every fucking bloodshed that you have spilled, right, is gonna be taken out of you, right? Scriptures talk about that blood, you know, blood hath polluted the land, right? And the only way to cleanse that land is to shed the blood of him that shed it. You know? Hey, so you fucking devils, man, and the time of your punishment is to come. You know? We're gonna take it, man. Lord said that He gonna give us power, right, to tread over serpents, man. You know? And Yahushua said that these works, right, that I do, ye shall do, right, but even greater. Meaning we gonna be able to do some, hey, we talking about some cold Marvel DC combination, you know, on Esau, man. We're gonna pull these damn devils out of the little bunkers that they're in. They think that they're just gonna be, you know, all fine and dandy and they're gonna be able to hide. Hell no. Hell no, man. We gonna come get these damn devils, man. And they gonna have to serve out their punishment. You know? They not finna be exempt. They not finna be, you know, acquitted. You know, like they acquit themselves in this captivity. No, man. Yahweh Shemel Shai ain't about to let that happen, man. You damn devils gonna have to live out your punishment, man. You know? You gonna have to, man. Lord gonna give us spiritual power. We're gonna whoop y'all asses, man. And it ain't gonna be no light ass whooping. No, man, it's gonna be the greatest ass whooping any nation has ever taken, ever. You know? Scriptures talk about nothing has been done, you know, unto the other nations as it's been done unto Israel. Hey, well, that statement gonna be a time of the past. No punishment has happened to Esau like it's happened to any other nation. You know? You know, Esau finna get the worst of it, man. The absolute worst of it. Why? Because he has done us the worst. Now the other nations, right, they're gonna have to get theirs too. You know? The upper echelon of these other nations, they're going into captivity as well, man. You're gonna have the elites of these other nations, right, that are in bed and in cahoots with Esau, Edom, and they gonna have to pay too. But Esau gonna get the brunt of it. You know? Esau gonna catch the brunt of the punishment, man. You know? And he's gonna be, you know, for the rest of his existence, he gonna be servitude unto the Israelites. the other nations, you know, they're going to serve for a period of time, you know, and we're going to allow them to go back into their, you know, into their land, and they're still going to be tributary unto us. But hey, see, Esau, as soon as that 1,000-year reign of him being, you know, in captivity is over, he's going to be destroyed, man. You know, and bros, you know, speculate, right? We believe that, you know, maybe the, you know, his spirits, you know, might be dispersed throughout the other nations, you know. But that's something, you know, that we'll find out when we get to the kingdom, man. You know, when we get to that time period, you know. Hey, but we gonna take the kingdom and we gonna rip it out of Esau's fucking evil, cold hands, man. You know, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemel Shah. But that's all I really got, man. I was just meditating on that. You know, Lord Will was edifying, Lord Will straight to the point. You know, quick little morning spiritual rant. You know, about to pull up to the, you know, to the plantation. You know, so with that, Lord Will is edifying, Lord Will straight to the point. I'm gonna give all praise, honor, glory to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Hashem, Rachak, Wadash, double honor to the elder apostles, the elder bishop, grand millstone. Till next time, I say shalom.